So either way, is it better to hold the camera higher, like above eye level, and shoot down a little bit, more like straight on?
Yes.
Or is it just kind of depends on your face?
It depends on your face. So, for example, some people have these cute little faces with like small chin. That's not me. I have a nice chin. The small chin, kind of lowers it down. Triangular face where they have a big forehead and small chin. If they shoot from the top, it's gonna just get even more distorted in that same direction. It's not gonna be good for them. Mm-hmm. So they actually need to make sure that they position the camera right in front of their face. It's all about the face, yes. I like to shoot from the top because it makes my chin look smaller. That's the goal.
Yeah, okay.
And obviously there's no triple chins, nobody's looking up your nose, and typically we just look somehow better if the camera is from the top. Most of us, not everybody, please.
Sure.
Most of us.
Most people look better. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So if somebody listening to this was interested in giving their personal brand a boost on Instagram or starting to use Instagram, what are some quick suggestions you would have that would get them on the right foot?
Take a course on Instagram for businesses. There are several ones out there.
Which ones do you recommend?
Okay, so I love Tyler J. McCall's Followers to Fan Society. This guy is great. Mm-hmm. He has a Facebook group too. I actually purchased his membership, his lifetime membership. And there's training. He teaches on how to use this for business. He goes very deep into identifying your ideal avatar, figuring out all these things like their values, their social graphics, all these graphics, and basically helps you create a strategy that is unique to your business that allows you to grow and connect with the right followers. Mm-hmm. So it used to be that on Instagram it's important how many followers you have. It's not important anymore. What's important is how good of a quality are your followers and how well they're connected with you, how they engage with you, with your posts. Are they watching your stories? Mm-hmm. Basically, are they buying what you're putting down? Are they picking up what you're putting down?
Right. Right. So with that, in engaging with your followers on Instagram, are there best practices that you do, let's say with hashtags or with the Instagram stories themselves that
Absolutely.
help engage your followers and also increase your followers?
Yes, they increase. They will come. People always come. Obviously, you need to use hashtags. Hashtags need to be researched. If I go deeply into it, it'll take me about half an hour to explain how I do hashtag research. Yeah. But you need to be smart about hashtags. You can't just use whatever is popular. Nothing big. Nothing that's over basically 800,000 posts in it.
Oh, why is that?
Otherwise, it's just too big. Nobody will notice your post in there.
Oh, no. So do you use an app when you choose your hashtags, or each post you're individually doing hashtag research and not outsourcing that?
No, sometimes I outsource. Yes, VAs are great at doing this kind of research because I have that technique on paper. I can give it to anybody and they can do it. Basically, no, I have several collections of hashtags that I create, and every once in a while I go over them and dump a few that grew too much, or see what maybe something else pops up that's trendy in my industry and add it to the collection. I store them in my notes app on the phone, and whenever I make a post, I basically go in and copy paste it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so what else? So nothing above 800,000, you said?
800,000, yes. After that is just too much.
Okay, what else?
And so the hashtags are important. There's a lot more to it than what I mentioned, but just briefly. Yeah. Stories are huge. A lot of people start watching stories every day. Instagram is picking up in growth. It went from 800,000 users in last November to 1 million. Wait, I'm sorry, 800,000 or a million? I don't remember the numbers exactly, but it grew a lot very fast in the last few months. And a lot of people realize that Instagram is basically an open market. You know how on Facebook you can only talk to your friends? Unless you're a page and you're doing advertising, you are basically there with that closed network of people who already follow you. That's it. You can't reach a wider audience. You can, yes, but not really. Unless you put out something viral, which is unlikely. And on Instagram, with those hashtags and stories, the geotagging, you reach a lot more people. So when you're strategic about it and make sure you geotag your every post and your every story, you show up in a lot of feeds. People find you, they discover you, they follow your stuff. There's a lot of those follow unfollow. It's still happening. It's going to die soon. But a lot of people stay. Yeah. And if you put out valuable content as a business, if you're dedicated to giving them something, what to do with your product, how to use your product. I mean, if you're into producing exercise gear, then you're doing training tips, running tips, whatever they're into, whatever they are looking for. It's very easy with recipes in food industry, right? You just put out nice recipes.
Right.
There is never enough. We will never run out of creative ideas on food recipes. They stay. And that's how you grow and you connect with them and you engage with them. You have to go back and follow them back and have a conversation with them. I love Instagram for the fact that I can, as soon as somebody follows me and I check their profile and they appear to be my ideal market, send them a quick video message via Instagram, via DM. They're so surprised. People are so not used to this. They find it fascinating. It's so easy to stand out on Instagram right now. It's unbelievable. That's why it's so fast.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could send someone a video message.
Oh, yeah. Follow me on Instagram. I'll send you one.
I definitely will. Well, that's how so for this podcast, I look for various hashtags, and if there's some people that I see doing interesting things, I will follow them, and unfortunately I have to wait for them to follow me back before I can send them messages, but actually, wait, I think I can. I can. You can message them either way, right?
You can send them messages, yes, and people who are serious about managing their Instagram, they check their incoming messages from now.
Yeah, so I've gotten, it's not a lot, but I would say 50% of the people that I reach out to do answer my initial just conversation with them, and then some of them, those do go on to be on this podcast, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, I'll definitely follow you because didn't realize that you could do a video message, which I think will make my messages stand out even more.
Definitely. Oh, that's going to be good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's a good place to start. And then are there beyond the training course you mentioned, were there books or just other resources that are just too good to pass up for people who want to get better at either their personal, either their branding or to get better at Instagram in general?
Okay, I have an amazing book to recommend you. Hang on a second. Let me get it.
Okay.
I found this book in the library by complete accident. And when I actually looked through it 2 days before I was supposed to return it to the library, I went and bought it immediately. It's a gem. So the author, there are 3 authors, so I'm going to start with the name Instagram for Business for Dummies. And it's by Jen Herman, Eric Butow, and Corey Walker. And the book is as dense as it gets, and it's very specific to running Instagram for businesses. And it covers so much more than I can even begin with. It's great. However, it's good for now. So whoever's listening, if they want it, if they want to start an Instagram now, go get it, read it. Don't wait 1 year. In a year, who knows what Instagram is going to turn into.
Okay.
It has been changing so much. All of a sudden, there's IGTV. I was thinking of starting my YouTube channel. Now I'm just doing IGTV. Forget about YouTube. Of course, you
Oh.
can't search on IGTV yet.
Okay.
YouTube is a huge search engine.
Right.
There's a difference. What if in a year Instagram is becoming a search engine? It already is with the hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting to think about it.
It is interesting. So I have another question about your Instagram account. Because apparently I was already following you, but I just fixed that. But on your posts, you put a lot of words in there.
I do.
So does that mean anything? Is that like does that help or hurt your, or is it just dependent on your business?
I'm a storyteller.
Okay.
So I put long captions to my posts. People expect those stories. Images by themselves only go that far. Mm-hmm. If you are one of the fine art photographers, you can totally get away writing no captions or just putting a word there or a feeling. It's totally fine. Mm-hmm. Some people put a poem in there. I like to tell stories. I tell stories of my clients. I tell my own stories. Or I give them tips on branding. And that requires a lot of copy space. That's what I do. Yes, you can debate that they're too long, but my audience will read it, and they do, and they respond.
Well, great. Great. So, with your journey from, your previous occupation to being a photographer, also then a photographer who is comfortable both in front of and behind the camera, or getting to that way, there have to have been times where you were scared and fearful about putting yourself out there, about this new transition. So in those times in your career when you feel apprehensive, how do you push past that?
At some point, you just stop reacting to the apprehension or fear. It's just a part of it. It never goes away, because if you keep pushing yourself forward and evolving, there will always be something that you're doing for the first time, and you will always be nervous. It's a good thing. Mm-hmm. If you keep being nervous, that means you're doing something right. In my world, I've long gotten used to being nervous. I was in a position of teaching 40 American students without knowing much of an English or even how to explain what I just written on the board, and I was fine. Most of them stopped showing up to my labs, but it's okay, I'm alive. I made friends with some of them later. I got better with my English. Sometimes I still have bad days where I feel like what's going on. I can't explain what's going on. I can't express myself. Let's get better.
For sure. So what would you say has been the best investment you have made so far?
Investment in myself, for sure. All the education. You cannot be great at teaching something before first learning something. You cannot be an amazing life coach without having a life coach. You cannot train anybody in anything without first experiencing having a trainer and continuing yourself. Like the best trainers, even in fitness, they have their own trainers. So investing, like same thing with online businesses, whoever is creating digital products or anything like that, they first have taken courses on something. They have had mentors. Without having that kind of, without investing in yourself, without putting out money to learn the skills necessary to take you forward where you want to go, it's going to be a very slow process. You're going to be 98 looking back and like, that's all I've done? Really?
So with that, what have been your favorite online classes to take, or most memorable mentors?
Oh my gosh, so many. Wow. Okay, so my favorite mentors online are James Wedmore, Amy Porterfield, Stu McLaren. I love Michael Hyatt, the way he's teaching people to build a flat platform. And I love Mark Schaefer.